Good day, podcast community. PeteKane here, Podcast Pete, and certified high performance coach. We got a special session for you today. When two coaches get together, they geek out, and you benefit because you get to see a side of potential growth. So I want you to kind of put everything aside, close out your tabs, and really dial in because it can help you to have an abundant future. So, Farrell, tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and we'll get into the podcast.
All right. Well, good morning. So good to be back with you, Pete. Thank you so much for having me on. I love getting with you. Anyway, my name is Farrell Middleton. I am the owner and president of the Bell Curve of Life. It is a unique teaching program that I developed, and I am in the people business, and my program is about personal and professional growth and development. And I'm a former home builder, did that for 36 years. And now I'm offering a different service to society. And my primary audience, I guess, is probably small business owners and their associates to work with my A Performer, A Environment material. And I'm sure we're going to dig into some details there. But Pete, I just want to help people live a better life. That's my station. I'm 61 years old. I got a lot of years left. And I'm just so thrilled with what I'm doing these days. I'm helping a lot of people.
I love it. I'm in Rotary, and I had a gentleman, Jeff Alley. And so he retired as an engineer. And so he read this book called Repack Your Bags. And it basically is when we retire, if we don't keep our connections going, have a meaningful purpose, and personally grow, we die. So keeping that aliveness in. So I want to go back to, you're 36 years in the building. You've had a successful career. You've been, because you can't be a builder not like people, because it's a people business.
Absolutely.
You just got to coordinate. So tell me, what got into you? Because I always say 65, then repack the bags, but you've done it early. What was that first mindset that you wanted to do something completely different? Could you take us back to
that? Absolutely. Yeah. And mine goes back a very long way. I have had a lifelong desire to be a teacher of some sort in my second career. I've been thinking about this since, for 30 years, give or take, something like that. I assumed it would be at the university level, say Georgia Tech or now Kennesaw State / Southern Tech, teaching construction management skills, which of course I'm highly qualified to do. But about 10 years ago, when I was around 50, I started thinking, what do I want to do? And I just started thinking about developing this program. And, basically it's the name is the Bell Curve of Life. And this relates to the bell curve theory that we all remember from middle school. 20% in the upper category, 60% are in the middle, and 20% are in the lower category. And from my program, this relates to behavior, skills, performance, and results. And my desire is to get individuals in that top 20% of the curve in the areas of life that matter to them and those closest to them. It has to matter. You got to spend time in the areas that are going to make a difference for you, stuff that you enjoy doing, stuff that's going to promote healthy relationships, things like that. Don't do stuff that's not going to move the needle for you. Focus on the good stuff. But anyway, so that's why I did it. It's my unique program, and I haven't found anything else out there like it. There are other coaching programs out there. I know a lot of other great coaches that I support their programs. I recommend their programs if it's something that I cannot provide with my services. And so it's all about collaboration. There's a lot of individuals out there that are looking for stuff like this. And I've got a very very deliberate and concise offering that I want to do. But that's my history, and I finally did it about 3.5 years ago. Again, 36 years in home building. I was ready. I was just ready to provide a different service to society, my friend.
I love it. I love it because what I want our community to kind of dial in on, it's like 10 years ago, you started thinking seriously about doing this. It wasn't like, all right, let me just start something and not prepare. So I love the fact that it was a 10-year journey of the focus on what you're doing. My partner who's up in Canada, we do the 80-20 and then the 80-20 of the 20, and you keep multiplying it so you really get focus and you're productive Yeah. So what kind of challenges do you find with businesses as you're starting to work with them on
Mhm.
giving them that mindset or
Okay.
helping them with that mindset?
Gotcha. Well, the first thing is I've got a 7 component program for a business, my A environment material. I've got 7 components of it. The first one is vision. And I like to start with this. Without vision, leadership, and direction, you will end up somewhere, but you don't know where it will be, and you won't know when you get there. All right. So I like to start with that. And this is a vision, mission, purpose, a value proposition, slogan, whatever it is that kind of defines the why of the reason you get up every day and go do what you do.
Mhm.
And Pete, it's amazing. A lot of folks that I deal with, when I ask them, what's your vision? They kind of stammer and stumble, and they're like, I guess I get up and do what I do every day, stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to help you out with that. I'm going to give you a free tip today. And
Mhm.
actually, what I like to do with this, I like to suggest to the folks I get in front of 12 to 15 words. It's got to be
Mhm.
clear, crisp, and concise. It's got to roll off your tongue like you eat, sleep, and drink it. If you
Mhm.
do that, people will know that you're committed to it. And
Yes.
you know this as well. You got about 7 seconds to catch someone's attention when you meet them for the first time. You got
Yes.
to make those 7 seconds count. So, for example, mine is this: to cultivate A-level performers in A-level environments to drive personal growth and organizational health. That's mine.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
what you want this to do is you want it to spark the next conversation. Say, "Oh, that sounds good. Please tell me more about that." Then is when you kind of launch into the more detailed, multiple sentences, paragraphs, things like that. So, since we're off the cuff today, I'm going to put you on the spot. Is that okay?
Yes,
What is
absolutely. Love it.
what is your mission, vision, purpose at this
Yes.
point in your life?
Generate leads, create cash flow, and build thriving communities.
There you go. You eat, sleep, and drink this. I can tell. Yeah.
In the middle of the night, you can wake me up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to spit it out.
Right. Yeah.
And
And so,
and to your point, if somebody doesn't ask another question, I don't. That's all I say. If they
that's
don't
it.
say, "Well, how do you generate leads?" I don't like throw up on them and say, "You
Exactly.
do
Yeah.
this. We podcast. We do that." I mean, because they're not interested. If they're
Mm-mm.
interested, they'll ask
Mhm.
me a question. I love it.
That's correct.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
What?
and as you know, real quick, when you go to like a networking group or something like that, which that's where you and I met actually a
Mhm.
couple of years back,
Yep.
you're not going to connect with everybody in the room. You know what you
Yes.
want to do is you find the people you connect with, and they want to connect with you. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you can't walk out with 20 or 25 business cards and expect some productive thing to come out of that. Grab 2 or 3. Find the
Yeah.
people that you can really connect with, and then that's where this stuff becomes so valuable.
I love it. We talked like the last time we had a chat. It was at the 1885 house, and we were talking about the journey. And you brought up that you had a workshop that Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a firm believer. So is my partner in workshops because the teaching element is so powerful because we know what we know, but we're talking to people that are in a different phase of the journey.
Hmm.
What would you tell our viewers, like, how has a workshop helped you bring people into that mindset that you described to us just recently?
Okay, yeah. No, the workshop, it's a new program for me, and I am very, very excited about this. It's
Mhm.
resolving a lot of challenges that my clients have and that I have as we want to engage together. So basically, these are 60 minutes. They're 1 hour, and it's on each of my A performer and A
Mhm.
environment material, 1 hour each. And the the workshop aspect of it is I've got 8 main traits for A performers I've identified, and as I mentioned already, I've developed my blueprint for an A environment, which have components. So in this 60 minutes, what we do is we review. Say, let's take A performer. We review the 8 traits of performer. I've got a PowerPoint presentation with some very engaging information. I got
Mhm.
some pictures and visuals, which are just so important in the learning process. I think we both know that. If you
Yes.
can get some visuals in there, oh my gosh, the mind just connects. So We do that about 45 minutes, then there's a 15-minute Q&A. And what I provide as well, the long-term value comes in with my evaluation form. And what I've got a one-page handout that's the material. We follow that as we go through, kind of a guide. And then I've got an evaluation form. And I'm a very simple person now. I lived a very complicated and complex professional life with developing land and building houses. I'm simple now, and it really feels good. It's very refreshing. Simple scale, 1 to 5, poor, moderate, satisfactory, superior, and outstanding. And as we go through each of these 8 traits, before I move on to the next one, I ask everybody in the room, rate yourself. Where do you think you are right now in this particular category? And it's attitude, relationship building, communication skills, wake up frame of mind is a great one. So this is where the workshop comes in. And by the time we get done in 60 minutes, they've got a roadmap on what it is they need to work on. They've circled. Actually, I had a guy last week. He gave himself some 1s on a couple of things. Nobody ever does that. The least I've seen is 3s. But once we get done, they have get rated themselves on each of these 8 areas. And guess what? Let's go work on the areas that you need to work on that are, you're poor performing. That's where it comes in. And there is such long-term value. People will walk away after 1 hour with a plan of action for stuff they can do better that day. That day, there's immediate return. Yeah.
Yeah, I love self-assessments because that tells you where they are in the journey. And you can't guess. You have to know where they are to be able to move them. I'm a big proponent of people getting to know you, like you, and trust you online. And a book is one of those ways that people can get to know you. Tell us about your book and what, I mean, it takes a lot of discipline to write a book. A lot of people think about it, but they don't do it. So went into your thought process. How long did it take and what kind of results have you seen?
Okay. No, great question. And yes, writing a book is an effort. And by the way, for everyone listening, everyone has a book inside them. They just have to decide if they want it to come out. And statistically, now that I'm in this arena with being an author, 8% of people actually start writing a book and 1% finish it. That's what I've heard statistically. Yeah, 1% finish it. So, but my motivation was with my program, I wanted to share this message. And the title of the book is A Performer, A Environment, a roadmap to enhance your performance and upgrade your environment. This is my signature material. And so with my program, this was kind of a necessity. A lot of people write a book because they think it's kind of a good thing to do, which it is. Mine was, like I said, kind of a necessity. And what I've come to find, I've got 23 chapters in it. I've got 11 chapters on A Performer and 12 chapters on A Environment. And what I've come to find, the reviews I've gotten have been very, very good. It is a very comfortable book to read. My publisher did a great job in formatting. He helped me, write the book with, it's all my material, but man, he really helped me craft it in a very good way. So it's a very comfortable read. The chapters are 8 to 10 pages long, which is really good. And what I've come to find, Pete, is that a lot of good compliments on it. It's a very practical guide on, living a better life. But you don't have to finish the book to get value. You just have to start it. There's a lesson in every chapter that I've got. And you can go to, and I've told people that haven't started reading yet, they've got it there. I'm like, just go to the table of contents. Okay. Pick one of the chapters and go read it. It's not a sequential type of thing like reading a mystery novel, okay, where you have to put all the parts and pieces together. Each chapter stands on its own as its own area of a learning opportunity. So grab a chapter that strikes your interest and read the chapter. And then you'll read another chapter. Then you'll read another one. And so I've come to find, as I had more conversations, been interviewed and things like that, that's the real value in this book. You just have to start it. And you can pick the areas that matter to you. Again, what matters to you, what's going to move your needle in your life. Everyone will have a different takeaway from this book. And that is the beauty of this material.
I love that. I had a person, she's in my Rotary, and she's a top performer. I mean, a high performer. And so we ended up, her assistant booked the wrong wrong podcast. It was like a strategy session, which is around coaching. So
Okay.
we're like first starting out. She goes, "Hey, I thought I was going to do a podcast." And I said,
Okay.
"Too, but somebody booked this session." But anyway, we started talking. She has 3 coaches,
All right.
3, not 1, not 2, not 3. And what we've discovered in the industry that we both are in is, the highest performers, they just don't have one coach. They have
Mm.
multiple coaches. Like Bill Gates had a bridge coach.
Okay.
He afforded it and he wanted to master it. So you hire a coach to get you there faster and
Hmm.
knows that topic. So tell our viewers, like, do you when you run into people, they go, I can get all my information for free. There's plenty of information out there. How do you handle when they say, I can find coaches online, I can listen to YouTube videos, I can
Hmm.
get my stuff for free? What would you say to the person that shares that answer with you?
Okay. Well, that's a great question. I haven't thought about that, but I'm going to give you a good answer here. Basically, you get what you pay for, Pete. You
Hmm.
do. And free stuff, sometimes it can be good and valuable. I'm not saying there's bad stuff there, but there is nothing like direct personal interaction.
Yep.
And the key here is, look, I had a coaching session earlier this week with a guy that I was introduced to. He does sales type coaching and things like that. I had an hour-long session with him on Monday morning, and man, did he help me out. It was great. So I have a coach as well.
Hmm.
But there's just nothing like personal interaction. And this stuff doesn't take long. You know this, you're a coach as well. If I can get the attention of someone for 60 or 90 minutes, that's all I need. All I need. And we will review material. And like I said, we will determine, I find the pain points, what's working well and why, and what's not working well and why. And one thing that I think a lot of people don't do, and I ask this question frequently when I have the privilege of getting in front of people, is we don't pat ourselves enough on the back for things we do well. All right. When I ask this, I'm like, does everybody, do y'all congratulate yourselves? Do you take a minute, step back, take a breath, and say, wow, I just accomplished something. I'm going to pat myself on the back. Pete, nobody does that, and they need to. And
Totally.
so, tying this together, I like for people to realize what's going well and why. We don't do enough of that. We don't recognize the areas that are our strengths often enough. And what I like to do as well is identify those areas where there are strengths and good results. And the areas you're struggling in, take the principles or the habits or whatever it is that is causing those other areas to be very proficient and move those into the areas that you need to work on. Why are you doing well over here? Well, let's take that stuff and put it over here, and that will help you do better there. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think about like your 36-year journey in building, and like I don't know if you know George Nagoda, but he's the president of Water Medics, and so
Yeah.
we're good friends. We hang out. He's a client, and we just have had numerous conversations. He's done work for me, and I tell him, I said, it's like herding. His job is like herding cats, and
Hmm.
it is so difficult to work with contractors who have different personalities, different work habits. They show
Hmm.
up sometimes when they want to, not when you want them to.
Oh, yeah.
And you're coordinating a house, and everything has to be so precise. The floor doesn't go in before the cement gets poured. It's like everything is a system, a sequence, and you're trying to work with people that they're their own boss
Hmm.
sometimes,
Oh,
most of
yeah.
the time. And so you're working with all these different personalities. What do you think in your 36 years, how did that help you today? Like, that is, I think building is the most difficult
Okay.
thing because of the type of people you're dealing with. How did that help you prepare for your coaching journey?
Okay. Yeah. Hey, real quick, you just went out a little bit. Do we still have a good connection? You still
Yeah,
good?
we do now. Yeah, we did a little bit of slowness in a previous conversation, but we're fine now. If I can hear
Okay.
you and And if you need me
Okay,
to
good,
repeat
good.
the question, I will.
Yeah. No, I'm good. I'm good. No, just saw a little bit of a pause there. I want to make sure we're still good. But no, that's an excellent question, and that was the life that I lived. And yes, I had that in dealing with all the subcontractors and suppliers on the production side of things, but also I dealt with bankers and mortgage professionals and closing attorneys. All of those people, professional services, physical service, all that stuff. And now that I look back, Pete, I had the incredible opportunity to work with people at all levels of what I will call educational and or intellectual, spectrum,
Hmm.
from high level master's degree finance individuals, really smart people, all the way down to the very good, very conscientious trade partner that probably couldn't even spell his name. I dealt
Hmm.
with them and everything in between. It was a fascinating 36-year journey in dealing with
Hmm.
that. And what I learned was everybody has a talent. Everybody is good at something. It's just a matter of finding it.
Hmm.
And everyone is due respect.
Hmm.
And what I am finding now in my materials, and I focus on this, is every position of activity in an organization has value. And so what I'll do is I'll reference the maybe what the lowest responsibility person in a group is and how important they are. So for example, I did restaurant work. I was a bartender through college. All right. I loved it. It was great. On a busy Friday or Saturday night, Pete, is a question for you. What is the most critical position inside a restaurant on a busy Friday or Saturday night? What do you think it is?
Bartender. It's the person serving or the greeter, the person that greets them when they come in, because that first impression is so lasting. So if you
Hmm.
welcome them in, I would think, because I greet at my church and I have a friend that greeted at a restaurant. We talked about if a person has a positive experience greeting and you welcome them, if
Yeah.
something goes wrong, then they're more lenient with you versus if you're not connecting, not having that
Mhm.
servant mindset. If something goes wrong, they can blow up because they've already had a bad experience. What would you say it would be?
Yeah.
Obviously, not thinking like you think, but I would be curious to hear what your thoughts are.
Okay. It's the dishwasher. Okay. The guy in the back of the kitchen that
Yeah.
is performing the most important function
Mhm.
because at its basic level, the primary objective of a restaurant is to serve food to hungry patrons
Yeah.
on clean plates. And there's generally one dishwasher. If that person isn't functioning well that night, that restaurant is in trouble. So,
Yeah.
from a functional, practical standpoint, it's the dishwasher. And you know what? The dishwasher is generally the lowest paid and the
Yeah.
least respected position in the restaurant. You kind of see the point that I'm driving home.
Oh yeah,
Every
absolutely.
position is important, and that person was hired for some reason to perform some level of activity. And every industry, every company has those lowest levels of responsibility. It's just how the world works, man. Let's be clear. Let's call a spade a spade. But if you don't respect those positions, it will catch up to you. And when I talk about this, the people in the room, they start nodding their heads like, okay, you know what? Now I get where he's going with that. That is just
Mhm.
so important. And it's
Yeah.
like the bank tellers that, like you said, the greeter, the bank tellers at a bank, they're the face of that bank. They
Hmm.
better, have a good outlook and that kind of thing. So pay attention to those at at that lower end of responsibility.
Yeah, I love that. After this conversation, I'd say the dishwasher and the greeter are your most important
Yeah.
because they are the lowest paid of
Mhm.
that operation. But
They
you're
are.
right. They are so critical. I have a
Mhm.
friend, Ty Berker. He's a golfing buddy, and his brother, special needs, works as a dishwasher and has for like 25 years for
Okay.
this values what he does, just like you described.
Hmm.
He loves it. He loves what he does. He knows he's such an important part of that wheel of
Yeah.
service and has done it for so many years. And when Todd was sharing with me, that he had so many years and that way he approaches things are just like you said, because I started out washing dishes when I was
Okay.
14, 13, 12, whatever it was. It was
Yeah.
before I could even drive. But yeah, you're right. It is so critical that
Mm-hmm.
machine flows, and it flows from levels you wouldn't think unless you kind
Mm-hmm.
of give it some thought. I want to go to a couple of things because like the last podcast we do, you were on the edge of being a granddad. Now I
Yes.
know you have now you are, and you're going to be a second phase
Mm-hmm.
granddad. So
Yeah.
how has that changed kind of your perspective being a granddad? Because we love talking about our grandkids,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're going to be grown. They're going to look to Farrell. What do they call you?
Well, we haven't decided that yet. Of course,
Oh,
my
really?
understanding. Well, they decided. I know what I want to be called. All right, and
Okay,
it's
you better grab it and you better name it because I
yeah.
can tell you a story that somebody that didn't, and it
Okay.
didn't come out as good as you would want. So go
I
ahead.
got you. Yeah. All right. Mine is going to be the word foul. And I'll tell you
Foul.
why. Now, yeah. And I don't even know how to spell
Once
it yet. It
more.
might be FOWE, FEAU. I don't know. But where this comes from is my oldest daughter. Her name is Pfeiffer. When she was
Uh-huh.
a baby, and let's say my wife, Kathy, was bathing her, Kathy
Yeah.
would say, Farrell, go get me the towel or go get me this or whatever. And Pfeiffer, the baby, would say, foul. Foul. He couldn't pronounce my name because with a double R and double L. It was a
Yeah.
hard one.
Yeah.
So that's what, and I want to be called foul
Uh,
from that. So it's a very personal, deeply
yeah.
personal
Oh, yeah.
type thing. But anyway, so that's hopefully what we're going to be, what I'm going to be called.
That's so
But yeah,
good.
our
Yeah.
current grandson, he's 19 months old, and my youngest daughter is now with child. We just found out a couple of weeks ago. And actually, the great thing here is the current due date is my birthday, which is in July of next year. So that's very exciting. But
Ooh,
Pete, I am in the club, and it is everything that I heard it would be. Being a grandparent is absolutely spectacular.
yes.
And I get to see everybody tonight. They're coming over. My youngest turns 29 tomorrow. And so we're all having family dinner. So the baby's coming over tonight. I get to see him tonight. And it's great. They both live here locally, which is fantastic. So we have a wonderful advantage there. And it's outstanding.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. But changing the perspective, it lets me know, getting you a little deep here, is
Mhm.
he has a very interesting world ahead of him. I think we can
Mhm.
all agree with that. We could talk
Yes.
about that for hours, of course, with our different opinions. But my goal right now that I look into his eyes and he's got his entire life ahead of him, I want to do my best to change the world in even the most slightest of ways, just one person at a time. If I can help people live a better life, to create a better environment, create a better society. I know that sounds kind of corny, but geez, Pete, that's what I'm about these days. I want to create a world that's better for him. Does that make sense to you?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, that mine go from about 6 months to 11 years. And so I have
Okay.
dates with the three oldest. And it's so precious to hear unfiltered conversation
Mm-hmm.
from the age that they just come out with. It's just unfiltered, and it's such a beautiful thing to have those conversations as they get a little bit older. And I totally agree. If we don't have that mindset of changing the world
Mm-hmm.
one person at a time, it doesn't have to be, you don't change everybody's mindset, but just focus on one person. and
Yeah.
and being a granddad, or or tell me again the name.
Foul.
Okay, foul. Okay, I can remember
Foul.
that.
Yeah.
Being a foul, it's just absolutely the most special thing of how they will look up to foul
Yeah.
because
All right.
and your
So I got to
wife's
ask you,
yeah. What is my name?
what are you called? What is your
Okay,
name?
so I had pop-ups in my life, and I don't know, I just wanted to do something different. So granddad is mine, and they actually call me AI granddad. That was my 9-year-old who gave me that name because
Okay.
I'm coming out with a podcast first of the year. It's Granny and Grandpa podcast.
Okay.
So I did this picture of myself, or no, I did. Yeah, I did my picture of myself, and I sent it to my daughter, and she shared it with the kids, and it was like it wasn't me exactly. It was an AI generated picture. So it was me
Yeah.
smiling or something. And they said, "That's not you, Granddad. How did you do that?" I said, "Through AI." So then they
Okay.
nicknamed AI Granddad. So
Yeah, granted, that's
we
funny.
are just we're getting into some unprecedented change, and they're going to
Yeah.
need their grandparents to really
Hmm.
help them through all this rapid change that you and we didn't grow up with social media,
No.
but we inherited it. They're
Hmm.
growing up not only social media but AI and all the technology that's just going to move real fast. So it's real
Absolutely.
important to have those family dinners,
Yeah.
those times together to build those relationships, and
Hmm.
for them to see granddad is, man, he was a builder, now he's a coach, now he's a granddad, now
Hmm.
he has that wisdom that is so important. So I
Yeah.
want to be respectful of your time.
Yeah.
So let's tell people, how can they get a hold of you?
Okay. There you go, right there. My email address, farrell@thebellcurveoflife.com, or my cell phone number, 678-618-2024. I used to give my cell phone number to my homeowners as well. I'm not
Mm,
scared of anybody, Pete. I want people to reach out to me. I've got something that I can offer. And again, it's about helping people live a better life. And a performer, a environment. If you can attain both of those in our society, Pete, you just can't fail. You
yeah.
just can't fail if you can do that. It's a good message, and I want to share that message with as many people as I can. That's what I do.
That is so good. I love it. So, last question.
Mhm.
What would you want our listeners? What is the one thing you would want them to take home from our time on this podcast?
Okay, I just want them to take a step back and reflect on their current life, personally and professionally, and say, "Hey, am I doing the best I can?"
Mhm.
Either in producing work or having healthy relationships, communicating well. Just step back. How am I doing? Am I a C performer? Am I an A performer? That's what I want people to do. Yeah, just
Mm.
look back. And if I can help with that, great. If you can do it on your own, that's great as well. I want people to wake up every day and just live the best life they can.
Man, that's so good. No, I believe that entrepreneurship life is a team sport.
Hmm.
The idea that you can be a solo entrepreneur, that's a misnomer. There's
Oh,
nothing
great.
solo about a journey. It's
No.
the team, get building that community, helping people. Really, what you said, to perform at an A level, because I
Yep.
think if you can perform at an A level, you're going to be happy because you're constantly growing, constantly changing, constantly getting better. So thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you spending some time with our community, and I want
Yeah.
to wish you have as you journey on. I have six granddaughters,
Okay.
so I see it a little different. But they're all so special, and so
Oh, yeah.
enjoy time with them.
Yeah.
So thanks, Earl. Appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Always good to